Why do you think it's important, and how do your courses help them, do that more effectively?
What's separating you from the crowd?
Yeah.
What's different about you? What are you bringing to the table for your clients? There's a lot of people that have great communication. There's a lot of people that have great there's a lot that don't, right?
Yeah.
But if you have great communication, management of expectations, and you can communicate effectively, and you're growing all those within your business, I mean, man, you're going to stand out.
Yeah.
Right? And especially if you're embracing the social media growth and all these things that are coming, the new age of digital age, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be, you're the 1%er at that point.
Got my man Chris Cuellar here today. He's with Goosehead Insurance and Ace Credit Consulting. Welcome to Success Never Rest.
Good morning.
At Success Never Rest, we preach on your worst day be good, on your best day be great, and on every other day be better. I know the way I see you out grinding. You're own 2 businesses, maybe more. And I know you're a grinder. I know you believe in success. So I just wanted to have you on and jump into that and find out some keys to what you do.
Well, I appreciate it. I love what you're doing, what you got going on, and success recognizes success.
I appreciate that. So first thing, I want to just get a little background info on you. Of course, I know you as the businessman, but I know you got there from somewhere. So just give me a little bit about your youth, and then how you got to where you're at today.
All right. Well, I'm a West Texas boy that moved to DFW at a young age. Born in Odessa, Texas.
Okay.
Oil and gas town.
Yeah.
Then family moved to DFW to get a better opportunity for the kids. And so my dad grew up in media. Actually was at NBC for 20 years.
Wow.
In the videography game. My mother worked for the state, Health and Human Services. She loves just helping people. She's still, after retiring, working for a nonprofit, Feeding Texas.
Wow.
Myself, I actually grew up in Duncanville for a majority of my childhood, and then relocated later in middle school, high school, and went to the Colony High School.
Okay.
And then went to Texas Tech. I actually bounced around from colleges all over, but made my way back to West Texas for a little bit, and then came back to Dallas, got into the mortgage, real estate, credit game. And fast forward, I'm here. So
Here we are. All right, let's get on the consumer side of it real quick. As a credit expert, I want to take an opportunity to ask you, a few questions that could certainly help our audience out there that might be looking to buy or get into the market eventually. So the first thing I wanted to ask, what are the most common mistakes that people make when they're trying to improve their credit scores, just on their own?
not having a strategy.
All right.
Have a strategy, have a game plan, write it out, put it in writing, and stick to it. A lot of people don't know where to start. Start with your local realtor, start with your local lender, get pre-qualified, get pre-approved, okay? But at that point, when it comes down to your credit, a lot of times, most people don't even know how to manage it. A lot of people don't even know what credit is. There was no school or class in high school, right, that taught us about credit.
Yeah.
Paying your bills on time, kind of a no-brainer, common sense. Next step, make sure you have a healthy mixture of credit. At least have a credit card open.
Yeah.
Make sure you're always paying all your bills on time, especially anything that reports to your credit. If you have any type of credit issues, seek out guidance. I see people all the time trying to fix their credit, do it themselves, dispute, and then they actually end up calling someone like me to, hey, I shot myself in the toe. Can you help me out? I'm trying to close next week, and by then it's too late.
Yeah.
So really that's the main thing is pay your bills on time, have a game plan, stick to it, and just pay off your credit cards, pay it on time, and keep the balances low on your credit cards.
Okay. So, not much different than just success in life in general. I think you said have a plan, put a system in place, and probably don't first I want to ask, what is credit utilization?
Well, what is credit utilization?
What is credit utilization?
No. So credit utilization is the percentage of your credit limit that you're using. Okay. So, while you want to have credit availability, that when you start using your credit cards and you're maxing them out or putting high balances on them, your utilization is lower, meaning your score now has dropped down.
Gotcha.
So when you use your credit, it's good to use your credit. I'm not saying don't use your credit cards, get those points, get those rewards, but make sure you're paying it down every month.
Okay.
Make sure, people say, Chris, where should I keep my credit cards? And I'm like, don't ever exceed 30% of the credit limit. They're like, what? I'm like, at least at the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
But I say, keep your credit card balances below 10% when you're going through the home buying process.
Okay.
So you get optimal credit scores.
Gotcha. Okay. Could you explain how credit monitoring services work and, whether they're worth that investment?
Okay. All right. Well, credit monitoring, I highly recommend everybody in every household do it, whether they're going through the home buying process or not.
Okay.
Now there's always, there's myths, right? Well, credit monitoring is not right because, I talked to my lender and the score is way off. Guess what? Credit monitoring is not to look at what the scores are, but to what's reporting on your credit report to make sure there's no inaccuracies, no credit fraud, no information. Just to make sure that information's reporting accurately. Okay? Because a credit monitoring site is a consumer credit score. Okay? Different from what your lender pulls, which is a mortgage credit report. So yeah, the credit scores are not going to be the same. A lot of times your consumer credit score, which is credit monitoring, is going to be a lot higher. So while you think you have a 780, 800 credit score, in reality you might be at a 640, 660. So there's going to be a difference, but you still need to monitor your credit, be alerted when there's any type of fraud, identity theft, something of that sort.
So is that when my buyer, my buyers call me, first couple conversations we have, hey, Michael, I've got a 760 credit score. And well, where did you find that? Where'd you get that from?
Right.
Oh, Credit Karma. Credit Karma told me it's 720. And then when they actually go, it's different. Can you explain the difference in those two numbers from a Credit Karma to when my lender, Chris Madrid, actually pulls their credit?
Yeah, so again, that goes to consumer credit scores is what we all have access on websites. Okay. Credit monitoring, Credit Karma, any of that. Okay. What Chris Madrid pulls is a mortgage credit report, different scoring models, different calculations. It's all looking at the same stuff, but the way they calculate the score is differently. Okay. So mortgage credit reports tend to be more accurate, quote unquote, right? It's just a different scoring model and it's used for a different purpose, which is lending home loans, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be a difference.
Okay.
So just know that consumer credit reports always going to be typically higher, but again, great to look at to see what's on there.
Okay. All right. So I'm a buyer. I've got credit issues. I come to you for help. What's typical timeline to see improvement on my credit score?
It depends. It truly depends. It depends on a lot of different factors. Okay. I want to say, generally I see a lot of clients get to where they need, if it's minimal stuff, under 30 days, maybe 60, 90 days. If they have no credit, it can be as much as 6 months or longer because they have to establish positive lines of credit card. Okay. Great thing when it comes to credit cards, or a mindset to have behind it is credit cards are credit building tools, not another source of income.
Yeah.
I see so many people, especially college kids. Hey, I got a credit card. Let's go on and party. Let's go use these. It's free money. Not free money. Let's make sure we're training our kids to use the credit cards the right way. But generally, if they need credit repair, credit restoration, 6 months, I would say 3 to 6 months is a fair time frame to allow someone to get you where you need to be. Sometimes, depending on certain circumstances, it can be longer.
your college comment reminded me of my second credit card that I received was to take a spring break trip during college.
On that new credit card?
On that credit card.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Might still be paying that off. And then I think I got my first J.C. Penney card when I was like 18 years old, so I could get a free watch or something. So I got sucked into it quick. So what advice would you have? You kind of might have touched on a little bit here, but what advice would you have for someone that was looking to build their credit? You know, maybe they had those few issues in college. Now they want to get things straight so that buying a home is an option in 8 to 12 months for them. What would be their game plan if they came to ACE Credit Consulting?
Well, if you come to us, we're going to give you a free consultation. We're going to let you know where you're at, where you need to be at, because we're communicating typically with your lender and realtor to know, hey, I'm going conventional or I'm going government loan. And so we know what their minimum requirements are. Yeah. So we're looking at, hey, can you even get there? If you can get there, we're guesstimating this amount of time, right? So we'll pretty much build out a customized process, step by step, on what to expect, what you need to do, what we're going to do to get you there. Other than that, if we can't help you, we're always going to give you a stepping stone, mapped out plan on what you can do to get yourself there. Not everyone needs credit repair. A lot of times people have a lack of credit, or maybe had some issues in their past where now they're beyond those. Yeah. And maybe we can hold your hand along the way. Maybe we can just point you in the right direction. So
let's take the person that hasn't had any issues. Okay. They've gone through college. They now have that job, but they've never established a line of credit. What would be your recommendations for that person to build that credit?
Apply for a credit card. Okay. If you don't know where to go, there's tons of sites you can try at your local bank. If you just truly don't have a clue and mom and dad don't know where to point you out or point you in the direction to go, call me. I have hundreds of links where we recommend our clients to go check out. Easy process. One of the easiest processes are secured credit cards. So that's where you put down a deposit essentially, and that's your credit limit. And usually you'll get that deposit back after a certain amount of time, as long as you've been paying your bills on time.
And so you just put small charges on that, pay it off each month, and then that builds your credit over time. I've got one more credit question, and then we're going to move on. And this is just came to my mind, actually. So I have a friend that's a multimillionaire with a big business. Okay. But he gets denied loans while his wife that's never worked can get hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of credit. Why is that?
Because he believes cash is king, which it is, right? But he hasn't established positive credit, or maybe he believed in cash so much that he demolished his credit in the past. So he just needs to rehabilitate his credit as far as getting a secured credit card open. Okay. And when you have enough money to buy whatever you want, most people don't want to put a deposit down. Yeah, gotcha. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'd always wondered how someone that had a multi-million-dollar business couldn't get, a line of credit sometimes, but his wife could, because I guess she was shopping at all the stores. She has a Kohl's card for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, consumer credit, one of your big buckets. Another one of your big buckets is networking. Yeah. You run a huge networking event. One of my 3 pillars of business, I believe, to be successful is the networking and working within your network. Yeah. So I know you're one of the leaders of Real Estate Connections, which is a monthly networking opportunity here in Dallas for real estate agents and mortgage lenders. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about, networking in general. So how has networking played a role, in Chris Cuellar's success as an entrepreneur?
It's allowed me to not only grow my referral partners and gain noticeability, but it has allowed me to develop some long-lasting relationships. Through networking, I met you. Yeah. Right? Exactly. I believe Chris Madrid connected us, and then from there we've done a few things together. I get to exchange ideas amongst other peers that may be in a related industry or maybe in a different industry that can relate to mine. Yeah. So that's been huge. improved my creative intellect. I've been able to just brainstorm and come together with others, and we just sit down purposely and have a mastermind, or a little. You and I've done that.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do to make our industry better? How can we help our clients?
Yeah.
You know? So I love that. I love people that have a growth mentality. That's huge. I gain a lot of support from some high profile individuals that I normally wouldn't without networking. So just getting out there, you know, and I'm actually scared to network. I have social anxiety to a certain degree, but I've pushed through it. I've told myself this is what I need to do to grow my business, to grow my network, and to be successful. So just getting out there and doing what I need to do has really just put me in front of a lot of great, wonderful people that want to help me, and just like I want to help them.
Yeah. I listen to Think and Grow Rich a lot, and I know in there it talks about the power of the mastermind, and as you were answering the question, it made me think about the networking event is basically just a huge mastermind. If you are using, if as an individual you go into it looking at it like that, as you're talking to the different people, you can be getting 4 different opinions on the same thing, I guess. So, what advice would you give to someone, who's just starting out in their real estate career, their mortgage career, or entrepreneur in general? As far as building a strong network, what would be your advice to, get started on building that network?
Get connected. Surround yourself with a great team, a great coach, mentor. No one is ever too good. No one ever knows everything. Yeah. And so get with like-minded individuals that want to grow and be better. Social media, use it. If you don't know how to use it, figure it out. Find someone, hire someone. There's all types of platforms out there that can get the word out there, help you get whatever your business goals are, help you achieve those. Engage with your local community, join a networking group, just be open to meeting new people. Yeah. Like I said, I did not want to meet people initially, a long time ago. I was actually scared to even go out to a restaurant, and so, but it forced me. And, with daily positive thinking and reading books and just educating, you always tell me what book you're reading. And so I know you have that, like I said, growth mentality. Mm-hmm. That's huge. So just the way you think, elevate your thinking, you can elevate your life. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And be a yes person. I hear so many people, no, can't, excuses, this, that, the other. Have that yes mentality, that can-do mentality.
Yeah, how can we get this done? Not why can't we? Definitely. When I started in real estate, obviously the networking was big for me. I tried going out to some of these different networking events, the B&Is, some of those. And I'm a lot like you. I have social anxiety. People probably wouldn't believe that guys like us that, I think we appear that we love it. But I have social anxiety, claustrophobia around big groups and things too. So that's why I didn't come to your event the other night. But what I did was I started my own mastermind group.
Nice.
I got Chris Madrid, Dustin Payne, Dan Manley, just 4 or 5 guys that I wanted to surround myself with. And they really helped me get my career going just from that positive synergy of meeting with them once a week for breakfast. So, my advice for people, if you're scared to network, is start your own with the people you are comfortable with.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you this, because I think this is a big piece of networking, is because when you're out there networking, you're meeting people. And when we meet people, we're not just meeting them for the moment. We've got other things in our mind. We want to build a relationship with this person. So my question is, how do you balance building those relationships and then maintaining them? Because you're always building, right? We're always getting new ones. Yeah. But how are we nurturing and expanding the network at the same time?
Stay organized. Use your calendar on your phone, on your computer, Outlook, whatever it may be. Have some sort of organization, CRM, whatever. I have a CRM that I take notes for every single meeting I do, lets me know what I did with that person last, It sends me reminders on, hey, it's been 30 days, it's been 14 days since you followed up with this person. I also set 2 reminders for every meeting I have. So usually it goes off 30 minutes and 1 hour before to prep me. Hey, you have to be here by this time. You know, so it's some days I'll have 4 or 5 classes, you know, where I'm driving all across the DFW, Houston, El Paso, right? And so I need to make sure I am where I'm supposed to be at the right time. And then also I have what I call a greatness tracker. And so every day I have to hit a minimum amount of phone calls to new people, a minimum amount of thank you cards sent out to people that I've done business with or met. And it's a big, actually it's like a list of like 20 things. And so, but when you stick to that and do the minimum every day, and when you realize that minimum is super easy, then you bump it up and keep challenging yourself. I mean, you're gonna grow. You're gonna grow your business. You're gonna grow your network. You're gonna grow everything. You know, so yeah.
Could I ask you what CRM you use to keep these people, you know, to keep all these relationships organized, or do you use several? Or
so I've used several depending on which business, right? But Salesforce is one of the main ones we use, and because you can customize it to however you want, you can integrate it. So I have actually like 7 different softwares, platforms, all integrated and speaking to Salesforce.
Gotcha. Okay. In today's digital age, do you think face-to-face networking events are still important?
I do. Now, I think there's a huge increase in the social media or digital age as far as being able to communicate and get out there, Zoom, you know, stuff like that, where you can talk to people not just here locally, but statewide, nationwide, worldwide. And I think that's huge, but I think there's a certain, you know, just something about meeting people face to face and actually shaking their hand, looking them in the eyes, and you can get a better feel for who they are, trust, you know, and also build a little bit more rapport a lot quicker when you're doing the one-on-one or the face-to-face.
You know, our classes on Tuesday, we've had, you know, Kyle Draper, which is a social media, you know, expert, and then you taught the class on marketing trends and social media and how the industry's going along those lines. And I think I finished up the class by saying, even though we're on video and we're on social media, it's still going to be a contact sport, meaning that we still have to get out after we've made that relationship, possibly online. You know, like Kyle Draper and I have never met face to face until the day he came to teach the class, but we felt like we'd known each other forever because we've been communicating through video and social media. So I do still think it's very important because, like we said, we're humans. That's what we're built for, is interaction and face to face. All right, well, let's move on to what I think is probably one of your biggest things you're doing right now, and it's the education piece of you know, your work that you do. I believe education obviously is another big pillar of being successful. I was in education for, you know, over 20 years as a school teacher. So whether it's real estate, any field you tackle, I feel like obviously the education, gaining a skill set is going to be very important. So I know you spend a lot of your time creating, delivering track-approved CE courses for real estate agents. In fact, you did a course for our weekly Lunch and Learn, and it was a hit. We got a lot of great feedback from that. So I wanted to get into education and, you know, what first inspired you to start creating these CE courses for real estate agents? And, you know, how did you first get involved, you know, in that field and educating?
Well, I mean, I've always gone to classes and educated myself, and I've always had to do CE classes to keep my licenses up to date. My business partner, Eric Gomez, actually had the great idea of saying, hey, why don't we get our providership? Why don't we bring some value to our realtors? Why don't we bring some value to our loan officers that send us business and use it as an asset or tool to get in front of more people, you know, spread the word about credit. So initially it was about educating people on credit. So for the longest time we had 2 classes, credit-based, and, you know, people loved those. We had such great feedback. Everyone just, I kid you not, credit is a boring subject. It puts you to sleep, or at least you would think, but we somehow were able to turn it around and make it into a fun, interactive class. And from there, people were like, man, we love you guys. You are awesome. And so Eric and I are like, what can we do now to, grow this thing?
Yeah.
And so we both started coming up with ideas. We were taking in suggestions from other clients that were coming to us. And so we just started writing classes. I started writing classes, putting things together.
Yeah.
And kind of like, what does Bruce Lee say? He says like, be like water,
Yeah.
fluid,
Yep.
So that's what we're doing. The times change. There's things that are new that are always coming up.
Mm-hmm.
AI is a huge thing coming up. I'm working on a class on that.
Cool.
But Canva, people want to know how to be better at social media and how to contribute to their industry or game. So we're writing classes that go towards that benefit the real estate game, real estate professionals.
Yeah. Taking the people what they're asking for, I guess.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
And definitely I know the Canva, the Chat GPT, all the AI.
Yeah.
We're having a class on AI at the end of this month and our Tuesday Lunch and Learns as well. So it is definitely coming. We all need to figure out how we're going to live
Embrace
it.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us about your approach to designing and delivering these courses? What sets them apart from other CE offerings? Because I got a lot of great feedback from your course. Why do you feel that, was it in the design of your courses? And
I think you said it yourself. Giving them what they want, giving them what they're asking for.
Yeah.
So really just keeping my ears open and trying to listen and trying to design something towards what they're saying.
Yeah. It amazes me how many people are out there that are just so thirsty for knowledge and positivity. I think it's a lot of it. They're just looking for those positive role models and speakers and things. And it just amazes me when I go to these courses and classes and presentations, the age of the participants. Yeah. And I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just, because I'm that age. But, the age and just, I don't know, people are so hungry for that positivity and to learn. So for me, that's a very positive thing. How do you stay up to date with the changes and the trends in the real estate industry? And how does that inform, the content you prepare?
Doing the face-to-face, speaking with people, connecting with people, really just paying attention to what's going on in the real estate industry, the mortgage side of things. I see certain trends all the time, even from the insurance side of things or the credit side of things. Which way, just dealing day to day with people and what they're saying. Yeah. And then they're saying it over and over again. All right, hey, we need to do this or do that. So just flowing.
Well, I know that's true because I know the day we had coffee, we talked a lot about technology and the AI and things coming, and now you're developing courses for that. So I can see how that is fitting right in. Why do you believe it's important for real estate agents, mortgage lenders in general to continue their education beyond those original licensing requirements? Obviously, we've got CE we have to take, but it's generally the same thing year after year. It's get your contract updates and take a few other little things. But, why do you think it's important, and how do your courses help them, do that more effectively?
What's separating you from the crowd?
Yeah.
What's different about you? What are you bringing to the table for your clients? There's a lot of people that have great communication. There's a lot of people that have great follow-up. There's a lot that don't, right? Yeah. But if you have great communication, management of expectations, and you can communicate effectively, and you're growing all those within your business, I mean, man, you're going to stand out. Yeah. Right? And especially if you're embracing the social media growth and all these things that are coming, the new age of digital age, right? Yeah. I mean, you're going to be, you're the 1%er at that point.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of what, I consider a good coach or a good leader is they pretty much are triple threats. They've got three things. They know the skills, or they have a system, first of all, to conquer whatever they're going to conquer. They know how to teach the skills within that system. And then I think the third thing you mentioned is just like the relationships and being able to listen, build relationships. I think if you can do those three things, you're going to be, a good leader. have a successful business and things. And I think you touched on those during that. And then the last thing, can you share, any success stories, feedback you've had from any agents who've taken any of your courses that's just basically, been able to show you tangible benefits of their business as a result?
You know what? I have a handful. There's actually a lady, she was at your class, and she's been to about 7 of my classes this year alone. So she's hungry. She's thirsty. She didn't even know how to really use her computer other than to do a few things, right? She still needed assistance with the new program. She's using the right contracts, this, and the other. Well, she came to our Canva class, and the first thing she made was a meme, which then she got a whole bunch of likes because nobody's expecting a 70-plus-year-old lady to post memes on social media.
Yeah.
And so she got attention on that, which really helped her dive into creating more content off of Canva and diving in. That's her first step into social media right there. Was that meme that we helped her create. And so I love it. You're never too old to jump into this. You're never too old to learn. If you're hungry and thirsty and you take those steps forward to do it, get it done.
Yep. No, man, I think that's a great story, a great example of, somebody getting something tangible and success out of the classes. Man, I appreciate you stopping by today. Valuable information for everybody, and we'll do it again soon, man.
Michael, appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.